Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Today is July 12th. Hope everybody's having a great and a wonderful day. Just want to say good morning, and let's go ahead and get started about what's been happening this whole week, and also the topic about the shift that's been happening around society, which is let's just talk about Orange County. Though we can spread out to California slowly and surely, but at the moment, that's for Orange County. Does have a city called the city of Tustin, and basically we do report most of our news and mostly focused on city of Tustin because that's what we are. We are Tus-News, about Tustin news. Other than that, we go ahead and actually report other things that's been happening around the surrounding area and other important news that that looks like something that we should be paying attention to. Or not, we try our best. We can't grab everything because it would flood the whole system. That's not really cool. That's not what we're all about. We're just about basically information, and communication and knowledge. And here we go. So, as for the statistics, we've been noticed that the statistics did stop about a month and a half-ish ago, and basically there's a lot of events that's been happening, especially there's a lot of people been talking about it all through all the channels, and basically what's happening is that a lot of the things that is taking place is not being reported for statistically, so that's showing some delay, especially around during the summer, where it might fool some people to think that hey, nothing's going on, it looks completely safe right next door. I should check it out. That's not necessarily true. That is why we made this channel, is because you don't want to fall into a trap. You don't want to fall and like you have nothing to worry about, fine, but it's about the overreach, and it's about the uneducated, and it's about the you can say that there's a thin line between discrimination and you could say people that break the law. And the people that break the law, they basically have no hope of buying a home, no hope of going into a business, no hope into any future. That's the thing that's the problem, is where it exists. It's at that moment where when a person does give up on a lot of elements, instead of trying to boost and reactivate and to bring people back into reality, that's when people start doing some decisions that could affect their lives. Like, for example, what happened 2 weeks ago was there was an incident where a gentleman parked in someone's parking spot. However, excuse me, the parking spot is owned by another tenant in an apartment. However, a dispute, dispute did happen where they let him know, hey, you're parked in my spot. Instead of calling the tow truck and immediately removing the vehicle from the premises, especially with the warning and everything, it was kind enough to let the other person know that, hey, this is my parking spot, it's cool if you move your car. All of a sudden, there was some words back and forth, then there was a punch, and then a threat, and then that's where the other gentleman had to call the authorities, had to call law enforcement, and thank God they did come. That type of behavior, or that type of things that are said, is where law enforcement should be needed, especially the ones that act really tough, not to be on the streets pulling over people randomly, saying, it's just, maybe it's because in a vehicle, especially when you could call it a God-given mistake to that person that might have helped the tip off law enforcement. It's not really, it's just the person was just hit the line because the car was so wide. But there is 1 out of 3 chances that they might catch a bad guy like that, which is cool, respecting that's fine. But I think that there's going to be 1 out of that 3 chance that you might catch the wrong guy, and then that guy's just going to be really upset. Very sad. Not with feelings, but with insufficient knowledge. There's no feelings about it. Feelings is never involved. There's no emotions or feelings about what's happening. So it's all about data, information, and communication. it's great to have that. That's all. That would build a great relationship between everyone within the community. It would build a good business flow, and actually it would bring in more people outside, and I guarantee it would reduce crime down to zero. Because when the community is together, like imagine when you see a stranger walking in the neighborhood, everybody knows dude doesn't belong here. Maybe he just moved in. We either take a basket of muffins, welcome him, or just see what's going on and go from there. Other than that, the homeless crisis, basically the problem is that instead of I've been reading that the homeless crisis is being fed to be more deeper in crisis. Now, what does that mean? Now, as for our hearts, we do feel bad that when we see the homeless, we want to do what we can, as much as we can, to help. And we go ahead and give them some food. But let me tell you that a person that is already in low income would give food to the homeless would make sense, because that's the minimum they can give. Excuse me. Middle class should not be given any food. Middle class should be assisting with some sort of a program, exchange program, assistance program, job training, information, communication, anything like that is worth more than food. That's the middle that what you do. Now the upper class, I mean, they're already being taxed many ways. They're being taxed federally, state. They're being taxed many ways, where they start to feel that pressure where we don't want to pay for these homeless people. They don't want to help themselves, and then it starts to build that resistance. So I think that if we just cut that taxes from the super rich just a little bit, because that money is going to waste, and stop the waste, cut it from the upper class where the resistance would slow down, and then it would all uptrend. All classes would uptrend to help the program, and the homeless to decrease down to zero, where to a point where there'll be a system how a person that when he thinks about going into homelessness, there's already so many programs that was already made by the middle class that will assist someone to never fall into that trap ever again, never to fall into taking drugs, they would never fall into being in the streets, they would never fall into living in a tent or sleeping without a roof, especially in the cold in the East Coast. Right now we're just talking about Orange County. That's what we're focused on right now, Orange County. So yes, the other day they were talking about we need some more food for the homeless. That was really great and amazing, but to a point where when that guy finished his meal, what's going to happen the next? That he's going to ask for more food and more food, more food. So maybe we're doing the wrong thing. For sure we're doing the wrong thing. So when the lower class, the ones that are making 30K and below, they give some food out to the homeless, that's great. That's definitely working. The middle class, you're talking about over 30K to $250,000. Even assets, and even if you own a home, do not give food. You have more to offer. We don't have to force you, we don't have to ask and tax, but you have more to offer that it could cost as little as nothing. And that's where it begins, right there. A cycle that exists, well, homelessness will never happen, and that should be thought about and worked out, and win that Pulitzer Prize, because that right there is a cycle of eliminating homelessness. There is some countries that stop poverty, that they don't even have poverty anymore. They just removed it completely. That is pretty cool. I wasn't shocked, and I think we can too over here in the States. Even though we are overpopulated in many different places, that's fine. The dense areas just means we just need more dense programs. That's all, and spread out a little bit to have people chances to buy a home. The opportunity for up rather than acceptance for the middle. So that's what it is for today. So other than that, there is some crime that's been happening for the last 2 weeks in the city of Tustin.